Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here with...
Hey guys, it's Celestial.
And Time Wizard. Time Wizard. What's today's technical date? March 3rd, 2002. Okay, so you guys know what that means. It means I'm not doing that voice anymore. But it also means that the Legend of Blue Eyes set was just released. Now, I'm going to try to do this as simple as I can and show off like as much of the set as I possibly can. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm in the wrong collection here.
Hopefully you're not getting too much glare.
No. We'll just change it to the default to what I've actually got sleeved right now. And the glare's just fine. If you want to come around to this side, you can see what I'm saying. Or you could just stay over there in your chair and not see the tablet at all. So what you guys are going to see is not only do I own an obnoxious amount of Dark Magicians at 19, because I just have to collect all the different arts, you're going to see that a lot of this initial set was devoid of anything as far as effect monsters. Effect monsters were very far and few between in the initial set of the game. And if we check them all off, you had the Armed Ninja, Exodia the Forbidden One, you had Hane Hane, Man-Eater Bug is on this list somewhere. I think he's right there. He is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. There were like 4 effect monsters in the whole game. There was a lot of things that were like really cool, but the game was really going to be stats based here. We see super iconic cards, everything that was used in the show. There's so many Yugi, Joey, and Kaiba cards in here, from the Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Red Eyes, Exodia, Celtic Guardian, Curse of Dragon, Mystical Elf is in here, Gaia the Fierce Knight's in here, Gaia the Dragon Champion's in here. Who else is in here? The Red Eyes Black Dragon. I missed the Reaper of the cards the first time. That's a 5th effect monster. Silver Fang. Did I say Giant Soldier Stone?
No, you haven't.
Giant Soldier Stone. You even see a couple of cards that like Bakura had used, because I want to say Bakura used the Reaper and the Man-Eater Bug in their duel around the campfire.
Yes.
We see super crazy cool cards like Polymerization making a debut. So in and amongst like the initial portions of the game, the normal summon, the setting, the tribute summoning, we do see fusion from day one. Rituals, not a thing yet. Linking, syncing, Xyz, pendulum. None of that exists yet. Counter traps do not exist yet. In fact, I think there's maybe one continuous trap right now, and it's like Dragon Capture Jar.
Right.
Yeah. I see it, but it may not be the only one. But I think there were only 3 traps in the first set. Trap Hold, 2-pronged attack, Dragon Capture Jar, and that's about all I'm seeing. So traps, not really kind of a big deal, but kind of a big deal.
Right.
It's how you're going to reach out and touch your opponent on their turn.
Right. I think spells, wasn't there?
Spells are iconic here. We get Pot of Greed, which, if you do the meme, lets you draw 3 cards, but we all know it's really 2.
Right.
Fisher came out in this first set. Like I said, Polymerization. Swords of Revealing Light, big Yugi card there. Mm-hmm. Monster Reborn. I think everybody in the shows used that at some point.
Right. Yeah.
Raigeki. Dark Hole. Mm-hmm. A lot of field spells get their start here, including the legendary Umi, which gets cards that count as it, whether it's, I want to say, Legendary Ocean for sure, and Lemuria maybe. You see certain other cards here that will get retrains later, like Celtic Guardian gets a retrain. Aquamador gets a couple retrains. Curse of Dragon gets a retrain. Gaia gets a ton of retrains.
Yes, most definitely.
We get our first equip cards not being all that good. They're all like plus 300. So like, let's look up the Dragon Treasure. Plus 300 attack and defense. And they're based on type. There's a couple that are based on attribute, I think, because I think the Sword of the Dark or Dark Sword of Destruction or whatever it was called is in here somewhere.
I think it deals
with
could be
it could be the first starter decks too.
Yeah. It might be in the starter decks.
Swords, tease. Yeah, I'm going to guess it is, because a lot of this is blacked out because I just don't own a lot of these cards anymore.
Right.
A lot of the game here, the name of the game is going to be vying for position and seeing how long you can hold it. A lot of our deck building is going to be very simplistic. In fact, me and you both settled on, I want to say, just about the same or the same build. I found 2 decks that I could really play with this set. And like I said, we don't get our first ban list until after the starter decks. And the starter decks don't come out for like another 3 weeks in the like the real world timeline of things.
Yeah.
So March 8th is a little weird. But it's still not bad. A lot of cards are going to get thrown by the wayside, and a lot of the game is going to be like, just what are the best monsters? So with that in mind, do you have anything else that you want to say about the sets?
I was going to say, like you said, it's going to be pretty much vying for position.
Yeah.
Cards are just, it's simplistic.
And none of the field spells, because the monster types are so varied at this point. It's very hard to build a deck where the field spell actually matters at this point, even though, like, you have a good field spell with Umi. Like, Umi is not terrible, but it's not Legendary Ocean yet.
Right.
So it's not great. It comes down to, like, do you want to play Dark Hole or Raigeki? They're both super rares, but, like, which one did you have the money for, and which one did you pull out of your booster packs? That was the other goofy thing, was, like, and I remember this, at least at my locals, the way that it went was, there were boxes and boxes of Legend of Blue Eyes. There was rules for the game. We could learn the rules. Again, a lot of us, we'd already been playing the Japanese cards. So, like, I already knew the rules. So I just briefed over them. Bought enough packs to just have a unique deck at the time. Because there were no starter decks. So you just bought, like, what was it? It was 9 cards a pack. Fusions were a thing. You weren't limited to your extra deck because it wasn't called an extra deck. It was called Fusion deck. So you could buy like 5 packs. You'd have like 45 cards, and you basically, like, I think almost every fusion was a rare. I don't think a single one of these fusions was common. They were all rare or better. And because the way booster packs fell back then, it wasn't like if you got a super rare, you got a rare and a super rare. You just got 1 rare card in a pack.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, you wouldn't get a stack of silver names and foils. You get a stack of silver names with some foils, which is good because, I mean, there were a lot of good cards that were, like, all the generic beaters back then for, like, the 4 stars.
Yeah.
They were all common. But, like, anything past that, you needed super rare or better monsters.
Right.
And it got a little weird. But yeah, I think one of the best glow-ups from this whole set is got to be the Skull Servant. Because, like, this little guy debuted day 1. You got to remember Skull Servant. Doesn't do anything for the longest time, and Konami's like, we need to make a really cool deck that, like, features something. And they were like, everybody likes skeletons. Cue spooky, scary skeletons.
Spooky, scary skeleton.
Yep. Okay. And that's when we would get, like, the King of the Skull Servants, and it was so popular, they were like, let's just keep going. And, like, he's a whole archetype now. He's a whole archetype from day 1. Like, from day 1 we had him. And it's goofy. Because, like, if you were grading your cards at the beginning, like, and again, who knew that this game was going to last this long, 25 years, and do all this stuff, right? But, like, if you were grading your stuff back then, it would be like, oh, you got a graded some Skull Servant. Okay, cool. That's like a couple of bucks. But now we would be like, oh, yeah, that's Skull Servant back from the beginning in its first edition. And it was like a short printed combin or whatever. And you got a graded 10. That's like a $200 Skull Servant. It's crazy.
Wow.
So
that'd be a lot to spend on then.
That would be goofy.
It would be.
So this in mind, guys. This is all our card pool is at the beginning. So I have 2 decks in mind, and your deck is one of my 2, because we've actually already built them. So what's going to happen is we're going to wish you well for today. As far as intro sets go, this one could have been a little bit better, but the fact that we're going to get the starter decks within 3 weeks kind of didn't make this terrible. It's just a little weird that we get the starter decks after we got the first set. That's all I'm saying. Because everywhere I've looked, and everything I remember was there were packs before there were decks. And it was like the 29th. It was like right at the end of March that we got the starter decks. So what I would like to do is I'd like to take, let's see, today's Friday. Let's take this weekend. Let's go ahead and give you guys the decks. And then Monday and Tuesday, we'll battle them against each other. Then we'll take a day off, and then we'll do the next set. And then I've got 3 times builds, I think, ready for the starter deck Yugi and starter deck Kaiba. And then we're going to go and mix in some of the regular programming again, because I don't want to just try to saturate this, because I'm still waiting on some card orders to come in so we can continue through.
Right.
So for now, my friends, this is adieu. Hopefully you guys will like, comment, and sub. Let us know if you enjoyed this, if you think this is a good idea. Again, look for the Time Wizard playlist. The further we go into this, the more there will be. And then, of course, I'm going to build more than just a couple of decks. But I want to focus more on the decks I'm keeping. So that's the thing. So for now, I wish you guys well. See you guys next time.
All right, guys. And go out there and do something for yourselves, too.
Yes, make sure that you do the self-care. Because it's important. You guys are important. And if nobody in your life is telling you that, we want you to know that. So you heard it here first. All right. See you guys next time.
Later.
Later.